What's going on? VitalSyntax here. I'm going to be talking more about Halo 4's multiplayer. I guess you could call this my first impression review, although I think that's one of the most annoying and overused phrases on YouTube. Regardless, I guess that's kind of the best description of what this video is all about. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that I liked about the multiplayer, some of the things I would like to see changed, and talk about some of the new features and changes that they made to the multiplayer as a whole. So let's first talk about some of the things I really like. The first thing is how they've changed the power weapons. Power weapons has been a big part of Halo 4 ever since the very beginning. Things like the sniper rifles, the rocket launchers were always at set spawn locations, typically in the middle of the map, or the sword, things like that. And if you got those power weapons, you basically had this massive advantage over all the other players. And you didn't really have to get those power weapons based on skill. I mean, if you knew where the location was and you were there at the right time, then you could pick it up. Well, they still have power weapons that are placed throughout the map depending on which game mode you're playing. For example, if you're playing Dominion, which is I uploaded in my last gameplay video, which is kind of like domination with flag points, there are power weapons that are placed around the map. Now, it seems like they're random and they're placed near the flag points. So they're not right out in the middle of the map, which I like it a lot better that way, where they're around the flag points. Whereas if you're playing a game mode like Team Slayer, which they've renamed to something like Infinity Slayer, I think, instead of having power weapon drops and random spawn points around the map, or even set spawn points around the map like in previous Halo games, they have airdrops. Essentially, if you get a certain number of kills, like a kill streak from Call of Duty, you can call in an orbital drop that will drop a power weapon wherever you tell it. So you basically just look wherever you want it to drop, choose one of the directions on the D-pad. There's a couple different options that you have of what type of weapon or type of orbital drop you're going to get, and you can get things like rocket launchers, sniper rifles, the saw, light machine gun, shotguns, things like that, all the basic power weapons that are in the game. So the power weapons are still part of the game, but they're in more of a kill streak type of fashion, which I really like, because that's one of the things I didn't like about Halo in the past, is that the power weapons gave you such a huge advantage, although you didn't really have to have skill to get them in the first place. They've kind of changed that around, depends on the game mode you're playing. So overall, I like the change that they've made to the power weapons in the game. Another thing that they've added is sprinting. Now, sprinting was in Halo Reach. It was an armor ability, but now it's not an armor ability. Now everybody can sprint. There is an armor ability, I believe, that gives you a longer sprint, or maybe it's faster sprint, I'm not really sure, but regardless, everybody can sprint, and I really like that because it makes the gameplay and the game move a little bit faster, and it just makes it feel more modern, more smooth. It just, I don't know, it makes the game run smoother, I guess, and run faster. The next thing that they've changed, and this isn't just necessarily part of the multiplayer, it's part of the entire game, is the graphics. I would argue that this is the best looking Xbox 360 game released, and it's actually one of the best games on any platform. Now, sure, it's running at 30 frames per second, whereas on a high-end gaming PC, you can run something like Crysis at 120 frames per second at way higher detail. The textures are way higher, the lighting effects are way better, but for what it's running on an 8-year-old piece of hardware, and how good it looks, I was blown away, to be honest. It looks way better than the previous Halo games. And 343 Studio did an amazing job with everything from really high-resolution textures, or at least high-resolution textures for what you can expect from an Xbox 360. Really good lighting effects, sun glare, light shafting, volumetric fog, all that stuff that you'd expect from something like Crysis is in Halo, at least in some levels. Now, if it was released on PC like Halo 1, and I talked about this in my last video, and I hope I don't get too much flack for it, for being somewhat of a PC elitist, but if this game was released on PC, it would have looked, way better. Unfortunately, it's an Xbox 360 exclusive, which is retarded. Any type of exclusive game, I think, is just really bad for consumers. But anyway, I don't want to get into that, and please don't bring that up in the comments, because I can see that starting some of a flame war, and I know somebody's going to anyway. But anyway, let's move on to a couple of things that I like they've changed. So the new class/custom loadout type of system I really like as well. This allows you to change things like what type of primary weapon you have to spawn with. So for example, I have a class that I have a BR, which the BR in this game is amazing. It's beautiful. It sounds really good. All the gun sounds are actually amazingly well done. But you can choose, a BR, a DMR, an assault rifle, some of the new Covenant weapons, or not, or I guess returning Covenant weapons, some of the new Promethean weapons, which are the new type of aliens that are really awesome. I think they did a pretty good job of introducing these new aliens in the single player, and they're really cool looking. Really good sound effects and all that stuff as well. And you can also change out your secondary. You can have like the Magnum pistol that we've had, since Halo 1, or you can choose the plasma pistol, a couple of other options. There's a couple new type of grenade options, and you also got the armor abilities, which are kind of like perks or skills. So for example, one of them is a shield, where you can basically defend yourself from bullets for a couple seconds if you need your health or your shield to recharge. That's kind of a good tool to use. There's another one where you can drop a recharging ball that basically gives you and any teammates that are around health. Now you can still get shot while you're in this area, but it's really good if you take damage to run around a corner, heal yourself really quickly so that you're ready to go into the gunfight. That's probably going to be happening pretty soon. There's other ones like invisibility. They balanced it pretty well. You're only invisible when you're standing still. If you start moving and stuff like that, you are more visible. I believe it also scrambles the radar. So there's other types of abilities like that. They've added a couple of new ones as well. I like also they have a really cool melee system. I believe it's the same as it was in Halo Reach, where you have the beatdowns type of cinematic assassinations if you get up behind somebody and do a melee. Although it seems like it's always an assassination melee if you're from behind. I wish that if you held the button, it'd be an assassination. If you just tapped it, you'd just kill them real quickly, because the advantage of doing assassination really is that it just looks cool, but the disadvantage is that you're kind of exposed while you're doing it, so it'd be nice if it wasn't required every time. Another thing I really like is some of the other new game modes. They've changed the way the zombies game mode work. I think it's called like Flood or something now, and they've used some of the new armor abilities. For example, the Flood can move really, really quickly. It's still the same type of zombie game mode that I've really enjoyed. This is one of my favorite game modes that I played. I think they introduced that with Halo 2, or at least I remember playing it quite a lot. I don't know if it was an actual playlist or if it was just a custom game in Halo 2, but I played that all the time. It was actually one of my favorite parts about Halo, partially because I'm just really bad at the game and it doesn't really require a lot of skill. But that's still returning. There's a couple other new returning game modes, things like Capture the Flag, Free for All, Team Slayer. This is a big battle where it has a higher player count, things like that. They've also changed how the cooperative system works. They don't have the fire team system that they had in the previous Halo Reach. I believe it's also in Halo 3, right, where you basically are just trying to kill as many enemies as you can, try and get the highest score, and you can level up in that as well. Now they have this new cooperative, story-based mission system, and they're going to be releasing new missions, I believe, every week or maybe every other week. I haven't played it yet, but I'll probably play it pretty soon here. But I think it's a really cool approach. There isn't any leveling system or any bonus or rewards or XP or anything like that, which is kind of lame. So there's no real replay value to it. But, it's a mission-based thing, so you really shouldn't expect replay value from it in the first place. It's kind of just a one-time thing you do. But luckily, there's a new one, hopefully every week or every other week. Anyway, as far as the single player goes, so far it is phenomenal. I've read a lot of full reviews of people that have actually finished the game saying that it's one of the best Halo games, if not the best Halo game yet. I would probably agree with that. I would say that it's the best Halo game on Xbox 360. I would still go back to Halo 1 as the best Halo game, partially just because it was on PC, also because of the insanely good amount of mod support that they had for that game, or I guess the community modding it and stuff. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to give me a like or a favorite. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys want to see more Halo 4 gameplay. I'm not really sure because I know most of my subscribers are Battlefield fans and PC players, so I don't want to upload a bunch of Halo 4 stuff to people that aren't really interested in it. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.